Hello and welcome. This video is going to be a what sold video, and it's going to be for items that sold on all the platforms that are not live selling platforms for the week of March 15th to March 21st. And we're going to start with my lowest performing platform first and work my way up. Again, I am trying to catch up here, guys, but because I sell such a mix of items, I still feel like most of these would have sold now, because, you know, this video is coming out in May. I'm just going over here and we're going to start with Etsy first. Etsy is my set it and forget it platform. Pretty much I love Etsy because it's always just like a treat when something sells over there, mostly because it's long tail items, vintage stuff that I have had for a while. So this was a pair of Boyd's Bear pins that I've had for literally ever. I paid about $1 for the two Boyd's Bears, and both of them sold to the same person on Etsy, so sold a total of $10. So I turned $1 into 10. Really happy about that. I absolutely would not pick these up again. I figured because they were brand new that they would sell better, but I was wrong. These took about 3 years to sell. So again, would not buy these again, but I'm glad that they are gone, and this is part of Fix It Friday because I finally cross-posted these over to Etsy. I had them on eBay for forever and then just finally cross-posted them, and apparently they needed to be on Etsy. This item is something else that I had listed everywhere, and it finally sold on Etsy, even though I actually had listed this on Etsy when I got it because of the fact I thought it would be perfect for it. This is a wood carving or a wood burned. I'm not quite sure how that works out, but it was a cute little basket of strawberries, very cottagecore, very, you know, aesthetic. It was just so cute, which is why I picked it up. It also was only $4 when I purchased this a couple years ago, but I'm so glad that it sold and it went off to a good home. It sold for my full asking price of $20 on Etsy, although Etsy does allow you to opt into their offers now. So if you do sell on Etsy and you haven't turned it on, you have to turn it on for each individual listing. Just so you know, Etsy is now trying out offers. So it did sell for full price on Etsy, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'm glad that something very beautiful and handmade did not end up in the trash can. So I'm going to scoot over here. We're going to go to eBay because eBay is my main bay, besides Miss Moxie, but she's behind the camera right now giving me the stink eye because I am not petting her. So the first item that sold on eBay is this Disney Parks item. This actually went all the way to Japan, which my friend Donna will be very happy to know, or surprised to know, because of the fact that she gave this to me. This is one of the items. She was cleaning out her cupboards and just gave me a bunch of mugs and asked if I wanted to resell them, so I picked some of them out. And this sold for my full asking price of $12.87, and someone paid to have it shipped all the way to Japan. So Donna, it went to the other side of the world, and thank you very much for donating this to me. This is another win for Fix It Friday. I didn't actually do anything to this other than relist it, so I ended it and sold similar, and then I started cross-posting it to everywhere, and it ended up eventually like immediately selling on eBay again. So sometimes the listings are just stale and you need to end them and start them over again, and stuff will sell. This sold for my full asking price of $17.87. This is a Tommy Bahama shirt. I paid $5.25 for this at a Goodwill by the Boys House. I found like I found a bunch of them, and I just decided to pick up all the silk ones. So it's sold. This is something I believe I picked up for Thriftmas. This is a vintage 60s Pendleton wool flannel. It had no holes in it, and it sold on an offer for $33.89, and of course the buyer pays for shipping. I do love picking up my vintage Pendleton. I will state that the vintage men's Pendleton sells astronomically faster than the women's, but both sell eventually. And the reason I knew that this was from the 60s is because of the Vintage Label Guild. It is a resource I use all the time to help me with vintage, to date it, because some brands have been around for almost 100 years now, if not more, some of them, like Jansen. So I had to look at the Vintage Label Guild because I hadn't seen this label before. So this one was from the 60s, and I actually had a bunch of lowball offers for this, and then eventually someone sent me a reasonable one. I don't know why specifically this number, but I was like, you know what? That's fine. This is something I also got for free. This is from my Aunt Diane. This is Stone & Co. This is the second time you have seen this purse because it sold and the person returned it because they didn't like it. So they returned it, I accepted the return, and then it sold again pretty much within 48 hours of me relisting it for $10. So still on offer. It was free to me, and the buyer paid for shipping. So again, Diane, thank you very much. And this now is at its forever home because it's been 2 months and I haven't gotten a return on it again. So it's actually at its new home. Another item that I got for free from my friend Donna. This is the New American Heart Association cookbook. It sold for my full asking price of $14.87. This is brand new. And I got it for free. So I love selling books. I love selling cookbooks. I just like selling books. They're quick and easy, and I feel like books are one of those things that are a steady seller. It doesn't really have a season. Mostly because like in the spring and summer, people are wanting like beach reads or vacation reads, so they're buying books. And then in the fall and winter, they're wanting like an indoor activity to do. So like books, I feel like, are something that you can pick up and sell year round, and it doesn't really have a season. So, all right, so this is something I picked up when I went thrifting with Brett last year at the Bins in Richmond. This is a Y2K Jessica London plaid skirt suit. I did not expect this to sell as quickly as it did. And yes, I will state that less than a year is quick for a vintage suit. I figured I would try it because I found both pieces and see what would happen, and it sold for $25, and the buyer paid padded flat rate for shipping. So I paid, probably with the weight of this and the bins pricing, like $2.50 to $3 for this. So I think that's pretty decent. So the next item is a Beta brand pair of pull-on pants. I have only found Beta brand twice, and both times I found them for Thriftmas. I don't know if you guys actually got to see me pick this up because, again, I lost 4 videos worth of footage, like the last 4 videos when my hard drive died. So I don't know if you've seen this or not, but sold for $19.50, and I paid $5 for this. So the next item is a viewer sale. Barbara, thank you very much. When I posted this in a, I think, Money Pile Monday video, she bought it from me. She paid $4 for it, which is great because I only paid $1/4 for this at the bin. So Barbara, thank you very much for your support. I do very much appreciate it. I do pick up these Abaddon Society field guides whenever I find them. Of course, the bird ones sell better than any of the other ones, but if I'm getting them at the bins, that's perfectly acceptable. Thank you very much, Barbara, and I hope that it has helped you learn more about the plants, because I love plants. I love plants, I love animals. If you guys watched the weekly video that I did, like me trying to list a bunch of stuff in a week and failing, I'll link that up above. I did go over some plants that are native Virginia plants because I'm a nerd and I just wanted to share that with you, and so I took that opportunity to do so. But I'll link that video up above if you haven't watched it. And thank you guys very much for the lovely feedback on it. I really appreciate everyone that commented on that. I'm trying to slowly reply to everyone because I got way more comments on that video than I expected. So thank you, that was nice. This is a Escada piece from the 80s, and I know that because of the tag. And I picked this up, I paid up for this. I paid $20 for this at New to You, and it sold for $50, and it actually sold internationally for $50. I actually had a bunch of international sales for this week. So someone paid me $50. I was perfectly excited to double my money and then have this move on to a new home. And whenever I see it's an international buyer that's going to be buying it, I will be a little bit more forgiving on accepting lower offers than I would necessarily accept if it was a domestic person, because I understand how much they're paying in shipping. So this is great, more than double my money, and this vintage silk piece is now in a new home. I don't know if this is a viewer sale or not. If it is, I am so sorry. Please let me know down below if you bought the sweater from me, and I will thank you. I couldn't find a comment, but for some odd reason I felt like this was a viewer sale. So this is a vintage all points cardigan. You see, the reason I picked it up is because it's green. And one of my favorite shades of green, and it sold for my full asking price of $17.87. Beautiful fall piece, sold in March. So again, I sell stuff year round. I don't wait to list stuff, mostly because I have enough problems actually getting stuff listed as it is. So I'm going to not wait, because I will forget about it and just list it as soon as I get it. So that way it doesn't end up in my death pile, and it's sold. Next piece is a Harley Davidson shirt. This is from 2002, so it is vintage. So I could put vintage in the title. It sold for $16.89, and I This was from Jim's in Florida. I don't know how it ended up here in Virginia, but Jim's did a good job. It sold very quickly for me after listing it, so I'm very grateful for this. So this is something I picked up at the bins. I paid 50 cents for this. I have a lot of nostalgia revolving around the Berenstain Bears, so I could not bear for this to get thrown away in the dumpster, which is where the books go if they don't sell at the bins. So I'm glad that somebody picked this up for $2.87. I, you know, quadrupled my money, and this beautiful piece of my childhood doesn't end up in the dumpster. This is something I tried. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I've talked to you all before that I will buy all of the glassware that I find in these interesting and vintage patterns. And what I will do is normally I will lot them in even number groups and put them up for sale. I have a cupboard. All of my glassware besides the Anchor Hawking tartan glasses are all Lonely Hearts. They're all individual glasses that I have found, these beautiful vintage glassware patterns that I don't have a second one to sell with. And I decided, since I had one of the 16 ounce and one of the 12 ounces in the same pattern, to be like, well, if you have an odd number of stuff, here is a way to make it even, like, because, you know, people break stuff, and there's not that many of these vintage glasses, again, because glassware breaks. So I put this up, and it actually sold pretty quickly. I thought that I would have this forever and never sell these, and I was wrong, because they sold for my full asking price very quickly for $9.87. And they paid $12 for shipping. I paid like $1 a piece for these glasses. So did I make a whole lot of money? No, but I don't have these in my cupboard anymore. And I made a profit, and I saved some beautiful vintage glassware from getting smashed in trash. So if you have a matching pattern but you don't have matching glasses, maybe give this a try. See if it'll work out for you. This, I was surprised sold at all. I almost donated these. I got these in a thread-up shoebox, which are historically my least favorite box to get, because I have made the least amount of money on them. But these actually sold. They had a red mark on the heel, and it wasn't like a light red mark. It was like a thick, it looks like somebody took lipstick and went, and I tried cleaning them. I tried all the tricks to get it out of patent leather, and it was just there. It was just there, and somebody still bought these for $10. My cost of goods for that box was roughly $6 a pair of shoes. So I got my money back, I made a little bit of profit, and I'm glad that I didn't have to donate these. So this was actually great. To me, this was a win. To me, this was definitely a win. Again, because the shoe boxes have been historically my worst box. I've only had one really good shoe box, and that was the last one I got. But the other ones before that were atrocious. So I'm quickly learning to love J. Jill. Not only for myself, because I found some pieces where if they were my size, I definitely would have kept them. But it also seems to sell very well, which I was surprised. There aren't that many mall brands that seem to have this level of success, but J. Jill has been really good to me. Especially, I specifically pick up the Pure Jill because that's in the fabrics that I love: wool, cotton, linen, and silk. So this was a Pure Jill piece. It was 100% linen, and this was an oversized log and look piece, and it was very cute. It had a peplum bottom, and 3/4 sleeves, and it sold for $15, and I paid $4 for this at a thrift store. I definitely wanted to show you guys this piece. This is what happens when I'm not paying attention. So I do try to sell similar off of my own items because I have a big blurb in my eBay store that I don't want to have to repeat. Yes, I know I could make a template and make everything easier for myself, but I'm learning things slowly at a time when it comes to eBay, so I've learned that sell similar is just faster than me having to learn how to do templates. So this is one of the instances that it didn't bite me in the butt. So this item is actually has two things wrong with it. You can see here it is an orange shirt, not a yellow shirt, and it is a large shirt, not a medium shirt. So this is where someone actually looked at the picture and read the description and still went and looked in the item specifics, because I had the item specifics correctly, but I just forgot to change the title. And I was so worried when someone bought this that I was going to get a return, because I was like, when I saw this sale come through, I didn't realize it, that I had made such a massive mistake until I had already shipped the item. And then I went to double check to make sure I'd shipped everything, and I was like, oh no, well, this might be a return, and it wasn't. They did not return this. The total is $16.87, sold for my full asking price, and this is the one time where I made a mistake and it didn't bite me in the butt, and I'm really happy about that. But I guess this is a good thing to have really good pictures. I also have that felt board in my pictures that has all the measurements, so this also had the size and the measurements as well. So I'm guessing because the pictures are clear and because I had the size and measurements in the pictures, maybe that is what made it so I didn't have a return. They looked at all those things and were like, I don't think that's the right title, and just bought it. So happy about this. I also make mistakes in my listings, just like we all do, because we're all humans and we're all trying to be as productive as possible, but we get distracted, and it's life. Sometimes it bites you in the butt, sometimes somebody is awesome and actually looks at things and reads all the stuff. So next item is a Lucky Brand flannel. This is a pearl snap. I don't know why it took so long to sell. This was part of the Fix It Friday where I cross-posted it everywhere, and as soon as I re-uploaded it onto eBay, it sold. So Fix It Friday is doing great just because I'm consistently ending listings and selling similar on stale listings, and that seems to be working the best, even though I am cross-posting, but just re-upping my listings has helped a lot. So I still doubled my money off of this piece at $13, and I'm glad that an older item has finally moved. Speaking of older items that have finally moved, this novelty cigar tie, I've talked about Ralph Lauren before. They do all novelty ties. Almost all of the Ralph Lauren ties are dated, which helps for the listing. This was a short necktie, so anything shorter than 57 inches in length, and that's total length, is considered a short tie. I always include the length measurement as well as a yardstick to show the width of the tie, because that matters to people for some reason. And I've learned that people, if you don't include that, will ask you how wide the tie is, and then I have to take it out of my inventory and measure it and then answer the question and then put that answer somewhere in the listing. I've just learned the best way to do ties, because I do like listing them because they're really cheap, they don't take up a lot of space, and they don't break in shipping. So it sold for $11, and I paid $3 for this at a Goodwill before they raised their prices on ties, which I was very sad about. This is a brand I will always be on the lookout for. Now it is built with a Y, and that is because these sold so fast. I got all of these. I had found a glut of them at Diversity Thrift for Thriftmas. I picked up 5 of them because that's how many were there, and they all sold lightning fast. Did they sell for a lot of money? No, they sold between $12, which is what this one sold for because it was poo brown, and it sold for $12 to $18. So I didn't make a lot of money, but if I'm paying $3 for a shirt and it flips almost instantly for $12, I'm okay with that. I will do that all day long because that quickly adds up. So I will always be on the lookout for this, and the more interesting pieces sell better, but I think it honestly was just because this was poo brown. This is a Levi's piece. This is a chambray top, and it is medium. This actually went into my closet, but I never had an opportunity to wear it because it sold super quickly for $17.50. So I'm really happy about this. I will pick up modern Levi's if I could get it for really cheap. I paid $4 for this at a thrift store. This is something you guys actually saw me wear multiple times, and every time I wore it, you guys complimented me on it. So thank you, that was very sweet. This is the Loft Bossa Nova top. I found this in small and in a large, both times for Thriftmas, and this one sold for $12. You see here it says returned on it. It was never returned to me. The person filed a return, it automatically got accepted, and they never shipped me back the item, so this closed out. I got to keep the money, and they had to keep the shirt because they never gave it back to me. So again, I do buyer paid returns. If they do actually return the item to me, I will refund the original shipping, so they technically get a full refund. They just have to pay to ship the item back to me. I don't necessarily disclose that other in these videos. People will still not return stuff, so I don't know. And then the last item I have to share with you is a vintage item. This is a vintage t-shirt. It's very rare that I find vintage t-shirts in my area, and I actually found at an estate sale a fat stack of vintage cat t-shirts and vintage travel t-shirts, which are apparently not the super popular ones. I sold a lot of them on Whatnot because the buy cost was like less than $1 a piece. And the ones that didn't sell, I decided to list on eBay. Just wait it out. This one sold for $9.87, which is my full asking price. And you can see it was a really cute little America Cat t-shirt in a size large. So happy about this sale. Like I said, those shirts were in immaculate condition, and a lot of them sold on Whatnot So I'm grateful for every sale. That's everything that sold for me this week. I'm catching up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye. Bye.